Good morning, family. Welcome to the very first edition of 7 Minutes of Soul with me, Hasira Soul, Ashimu. Listen, I'm going to hop right into this. I don't want to take a lot of time because I know a lot of people, especially on social media, are dealing with the recent coming out of Michael Slager, the police officer that was charged with murder of Walter Scott down in South Carolina. And I really want to look at this and put it into very sharp focus so that we don't get confused. Because if you don't understand what's taking place right now, all the media coverage is only going to confuse you further, which is the purpose of it. So let's look very clear at what's taking place, right? What just happened with Walter Scott by this police officer murdering him? This is not a new occurrence. I know it's popping up on your Twitter feed now. I know it's showing up on Facebook. I know that MSNBC and CBS and Fox are now talking about it, but this is not new. All right, this is not a new occurrence. This is not a open season. This is not something that is just a trend inside of policing inside of the United States when it comes to people of color. This is the norm. This is what we've been talking about. The only difference between then, let's say 15, 20 years ago, and now is that social media now exists, that we, the people, do not need mainstream media in order to tell the stories that are taking place inside of our communities. That's the only difference. That's all that's taking place right now. So don't be confused. Don't think that these politicians talking about this and the governor talking about this is all about some type of epiphany on their parts that policing inside of our communities has gone awry. No, they've known this for the longest time. It is us, the people, the communities, that are now being able to transmit our messages to each other and the world of what is taking place inside of the United States at this point. And it is all out murder season on people of color. It has been, and it will not stop. So before we get into, and that's the nuts and bolts of it. Secondly, the second thing that you need to understand is why this is happening, right? This is not happening because there's a few bad apples on any given police force inside of the United States. And your brain is already telling you that, right? Because your brain is saying, listen, this is not just in St. Louis. This is not just in New York. This is not just in South Carolina. This is not just in Los Angeles. This is not just in these places. It's all over, right? So if it's all over, they would call it, if this was happening to white folks, they would call it exactly what it is. This is an epidemic. Right? And this is not about changing out a few bad apples or creating some type of piecemeal legislation. That's not going to solve this issue. The issue is deeper than that. And until we address the issue, this is going to fall off the radar in MSNBC. White folks ain't going to keep talking about this, right? So enjoy the NBC, CBS News coverage of it while it lasts, because they're going to allow this to fall to the wayside ASAP. Guarantee you. It's only going to be the people's media that continues to push this idea. This is only going to be addressed once we address the underlying issue, right? And the underlying issue is that the police force in the United States was created for the sole purpose of separating and protecting the haves from the have-nots. That's it. There's no reason to think that and in our communities we get lost by that idea, right? We get caught up with, oh, if someone breaks into my house, then who am I going to call? And they get lost into the good things that policing does. And this is what I want you to understand: the good things that policing does, community policing can do. Right? The bad things that policing does is what policing was created for. It was created to shoot people. It was created to hang people. It was created to administer instant justice on us. That's what it was created for. And until we understand that, anything else that we see, any other politicians that come on the air and talk about we have to put cameras on the body, and not that I'm against that, but that's not the solution. Body cameras is just going to show more of what the police force is created for, but we don't need body cameras to tell us that at this point. We know if we could just take a cursory glance at history, what the police force was created for. So I'm saying all this to say, first and foremost, rest in peace, Walter Scott, father of four. May your spirit, be carried forward, and we'll work on your behalf in order to make sure that these type of senseless killings don't continue. Second of all, it's important that we remember that this is not a new occurrence, and it's not going to stop unless we address the deeper issue. And the deeper issue is the third issue here, which is that this is why police forces were created. The solution: community policing. We are going to have to police ourselves, and we're going to have to create an economic structure that makes these type of crimes obsolete. That's all about the money at a given point. Right? Most crimes that are committed are economic crimes, even those that they may not want to put under economic crimes. But that's another issue for another 7 minutes of soul. I'm going to get out of here. I hope that this has helped you. I'm processing it at the same time. Walter Scott and your family, I wish you the most peace.